Greetings. I'm Norm Mack, Superintendent of Northwest Arctic Borough School District. I'm glad to be here today and glad to be able to share some of our story from Northwest Arctic and things we've been involved in trying to improve student academic performance over the last 8.5 years. And I've got my trusty note cards here, and we're in the empty hallways of Kotzebue Middle High School. The school year's finally over, and that gives me time to be able to talk to you for a few minutes too. So I'm so glad that we have this opportunity. You'll be seeing pictures of our kids in their classes, however, because we're pleased to be able to show off our classrooms. Here are some basic facts about our district. We have a free and reduced lunch percentage of 86. Graduation rate, unfortunately, 53%. Our Alaska Native students comprise 95% of our student body. We have 1,975 students in pre-K to 12. Our student attendance rate, overall district-wide, is 88%. In terms of discipline, we had 81 suspensions this past year, which was really a good decline from the year before. And we attribute that to our new program of safe and civil schools that we've been putting into place. One of the most important factors or facts about students that I think is very important is student suicides. Back in 2011, we had 5 district student suicides. However, in 2012, we had none. In 2013, we had none. And we attribute that to the effective workings of our Youth Leaders Program, which I think is making a big difference. And that's through a grant that we get through Red Dog Mine. 8.5 years ago, I became superintendent. And at that time, we moved away from site-based management. We put in place a common calendar for all of our 12 villages. We established the same period schedule in our high schools and for our schools. We also standardized the curriculum throughout the entire district. And now that's an essential thing in terms of being able to put in place the new Alaska standards. The common calendar and schedule allow for students to be able to take distance classes, and we now have a video a studio in which we can distance deliver classes, and it provides more options for credit recovery and other kinds of opportunities for students. The schedule allows for us to coordinate district-wide professional development across all sites and to be able to distance delivery that too as we need to. And the Common Core Alaska standards and having that uniform throughout the district has stabilized curriculum and helps us to improve the practice of pedagogy and instruction on the part of teachers for our students. Having a strategic plan is essential for moving everyone together towards your goals. And this was our strategic plan that we first adopted, and then we developed and improved it since as well and changed things as we accomplished the different things in the goals. The strategic plan lines out also that there will be annual goals set by the school board and by the superintendent. And to give an example of that, our 3 goals for this last year was fidelity to the curriculum, quality lesson plans, and the implementation of safe and civil schools. This was our first year into this program, and we expect this to be 5 years to get it properly implemented throughout all of our schools.
Dr. Eck has talked about how we're aligning the strategic plan with the superintendent's goals to increase student learning. We also have a tool that we're using to focus ourselves at the district level on improving student learning called the STEP plan.
And through the use of Alaska's STEP toward educational partnership and progress, which we know as STEP, our district's been able to identify key indicators that reflect and are aligned to our strategic plan and our superintendent's goals. Also, we've been working closely with the Department of Education And that has added another layer of support for our teachers and our administrators.
So one of the indicators that we've had to focus on this year has been classroom management to improve instruction.
Anybody knows that without good classroom management, instruction's going to suffer, learning's going to suffer. Therefore, we have approached that by adopting a framework of strategies called Safe and Civil Schools.
First of all, we started this journey with Safe and Civil Schools last summer when we took all of our site administrators to Oregon for the conference, and we will be doing that again this summer. But more importantly, during the year, we use collaborative time to really help teachers understand the Safe and Civil Schools model.
I agree that it's becoming very effective, and we're looking forward to the next year as well, and what it's going to bring to us, and the overall climate of the school, and bring all staff members on board.
Well, another indicator that we chose this year was universal screening.
We did. While the focus on classroom management was to increase the student learning opportunities, we also knew that we had to have a way to measure whether or not we were being successful in that. So as a universal screener, we chose the NWEA MAP program, the Measures of Academic Progress, to try out to see if it would work for us to measure progress on a regular basis, to see if what we're doing is working with our students.
And again, we've provided quite a bit of professional development on that through NWEA and through the district, and we will continue that next year also.
Well, another area of focus has been site leadership and the monitoring tools. Take it away, Ralph.
The district leadership team decided on 3 observation tools to help refine our teaching to enhance our student learning. The first of these tools is the McREL Power Walkthrough. This software tool on our iPads provides a 3 to 5 minute snapshot of student engagement and teaching strategies within a classroom. Individual classroom data combined at each site creates a clear picture of instructional tendencies. This data allows administrators to tailor professional development to improve our instruction.
So I have here open on the screen the McREL website, and we're going to look at an overall template report for our district. We can select a template. We have one for our career technical education, which we are increasingly adding to our curriculum, and we have redesigned the McREL walkthrough for our 2012-2013 goals. We can see that we have district-wide up through May a total of 1,633 walkthroughs, and it's really important that all principals do them frequently so that we have a snapshot, and those snapshot builds that picture of what's really going on in the district. The depth of knowledge, which is increasingly important for our students to work with our teachers so that they learn those skills to work with the students so that they develop those critical thinking and talking and speaking skills. We can see that we have an increasing number moving away from remember to understand. And we say that increasing because we can judge from how we did last year to how we did this year. What we want to do is we want to make sure that the students are understanding the instructional purpose. You know, they are able to articulate what's going on in the classroom and why. And the last piece of the McREL walkthrough before the principal leaves the room is to ask any given student selected to say, what are you doing and why? Again, for professional development purposes, we can take a look at what are the primary instructional strategies a classroom teacher is using. Again, at the district level, we can get the bigger picture of what's happening in the sites to direct the principals to those professional development resources that we have to assist teachers in increasing their repertoire of strategies.
Next, we will listen as 3 of our site administrators discuss our informal observation tool.
One of the things about the informal observation form that I like, though, is the instant feedback for the teachers, because you can give this to the teacher. It's a snapshot of what you've seen while you're in there and immediate feedback. It generates questions from staff is one of the things that I like, is they'll say, well, I had my microphone on, I wasn't using it because. That's fine, it's just a snapshot of what I saw when I was in there.
The teachers felt like it was a got you situation at the very beginning of the year, and this was
Right.
part of the evaluation. But in time, as the further we got along into the school year, the instructors finally sat down with us and were excited to go over them with us. Another real nice piece that I really like about the informal observation is that it holds instructional leaders accountable of going into the classroom and providing the feedback. It forces you out of the office instead of dealing with the day-to-day minutiae details. It gets you where you need to be in the classroom with kids and improving instruction. Important to me as an instructional leader is I go into a classroom and I do a sheet like this, but then I go, whoa, if we have a teacher who's struggling with a certain piece or just struggling through a lesson, I'll turn around and say, hey, Mr. Martin, would you go in that classroom right away? And we'll compare the two of them together and see if we're seeing eye to eye and there's some coherency of what we're seeing, or then we'll turn around and have a conversation with that teacher later on in that afternoon. When I look at this sheet, the informal observation, I see 12 non-negotiables. These are district mandates that they hold instructional leaders accountable, hold teachers accountable. So this is a very powerful tool that we can sit down with one another, and there's no negotiating it. These are directives and these must be followed or met.
11 and 12, teacher actively engaged in teaching. One of the things, if I go into a classroom and I see a teacher sitting at their desk, I put that in the notes. It's not that a teacher can't be at their desk, but as I look back through these and review them, and I start to see a pattern that the different times of the day when I'm stopping in and they're at their desk, I'm going to let the teacher know that. I'm seeing a pattern here. Do you realize that just in these random different times I'm stopping in, here's 4 in a row where you've been at your desk. The other one, or another one that I really like, is the student engagement. Number of students in class, number of students engaged in the learning process. Putting the numbers down, there's your percentage. That's what I saw. Even noting that a few times during the informal observation.
Well, Mr. As you know, I observed a classroom, an informal observation today. And just thought we'd go through. I thought that the class was excellent. Kids were well engaged. I thought there was one kid who was not engaged, but I saw that child was engaged. Even though she was fiddling, she was engaged in the conversation, because once you talked to her and asked her a question, bam, she knew the answer right away. So she was engaged. She was just using, she was fiddling with her fingers, but she was completely engaged, knowing what was going on in the classroom. At this time of the year, you shouldn't have to say this and this about champs. They've got it, and that's very evident. The only thing that I need to ask you about is the GLE word walls. I did not see them posted on the wall today, and I know I've been in your classroom before many times, and they're always there. So I thought I'd ask you about those.
Because we just had the SBAs not too long ago, we had to take down everything that was on our walls, all the word walls and all those things.
Our third and final observation tool is our site checklist. This tool is used by the site advocate to observe not only best teaching practices, but also school climate, facilities management, and the overall climate of the school.
When I'm making visits now as site advocate, the first look I get at my school coming in for that visit is off the wing of an aircraft. And then what I like to think about is, what am I going to see when I step in the door? Will there be inviting classrooms? What's the hallway look like? And how's the playground set up? Is the fence good? Are the toys in safe condition? Because a lot of people think that this is strictly an instructional visit, but we have a larger role. We look for lesson plans. Now, when you step into a school, how do you seek out lesson plans?
Basically, I go to the principal and say, do you have the lesson plans? I'd like to observe the room, just go in the room, see if they're on target, that kind of a thing. So I do ask the principal for the lesson plans. I'll also see if I don't get them, or if something's happened there, I'll just go right up to the teacher's desk while they're teaching, see if the lesson plans are in are right out there.
When I look for evidence of the explicit lesson plans, the first thing that catches my eye is from the hallway in a classroom that's engaged. And there's several forms of that. It could be students seated with their heads down on a task, but engaged, and a teacher up and active. Another thing I like to look for when I get out to the schools as advocate is how are we doing with our CHAMPS program and our safe and civil schools. So I start looking for the easy things first. A good poster, a poster that's placed in a student area, whether it be hallway or classroom, and I look to see if things like voice level are something that students recognize. And if I ask for voice level 1 and I get an immediate response, I feel good about the integrity of the principal and the teacher's efforts.
You know what used to be where you just step off the plane, you take a quick look at it, you get back on the plane and you're already gone. You know, you really don't get a good look at it. You don't have time to see the lesson plans. You don't have time to see what's happening in the cafeteria. You don't have time to see what. So basically, that's made an adjustment now. Whereas we stay overnight and we get a little bit better look at the picture. We also get input and feedback from the principal or the site administrators, the teachers. Sometimes they need to make us aware of different things, and you just can't get it in an extremely quick glance at that.
Well, I hope your look at Northwest Arctic Borough School District was interesting. What we have put in place is working for us. I'm a real believer in standards and processes. However, to totally replicate one model from one place and to try to put that exactly in the same way in other various places doesn't work. You have to allow for variation in place, experience, and culture, both institutional culture and folk culture. Any of us would be happy to talk with any of you at any time. Thank you for this opportunity to share. For all of us at Northwest Arctic, I bid you good day.